Joining us now live on the South Shores Morning News, we have the Plymouth County Register of Deeds, John Buckley. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Christine. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Good morning. And it looks like there's already some good news and some good numbers and some decent increases in the sales volume here with properties in Plymouth County in January 25. Big increase over last year.
Yeah, the two key points from our recordings in January. One were deeds. The deeds in January 25 were up 24% over January in 24. And as far as mortgages go, the mortgages recorded in January were up 23% this January compared to January last year.
And that's pretty good because isn't it usually in the next couple of months when you'll be taking a look at the spring market when things usually start to heat up?
Well, there's certainly still a lot of barriers to real estate sales and home ownership, but the spring market has always been a good chance to see where we are in the market, and we're hopeful that that trend continues.
Now, one number did go down, but that's a good number to go down. That's foreclosures.
Yeah, we've been tracking foreclosures since the financial meltdown of 2008. Since COVID, a lot of those foreclosures and foreclosure notices have dwindled, and we hope they stay dwindled. But if somebody is facing difficulty, don't hesitate to reach out to a federal housing counselor.
And you know what I wanted to ask you about? Of course, I always want to highlight your special document, historic document that you highlight on the last Friday of the month. And I know you have some new types of historic documents that you're going to have in-house, but I want to save that for one specific interview because I think that looks really interesting. But what I would that looks so cool. We'll tease our audience. We won't let them.
The grand jury earlier in your conversations with folks, and this one's about a grand inquest in 1637. So whenever you're ready for that.
Absolutely. And it comes with Mayflower passenger Stephen Hopkins, who I believe must have a lot of descendants because so many people claim him as one of their ancestors.
Right. Yeah, and I got to give credit. My recently retired first assistant, Tim White, was right on this stuff and worked very closely with Plymouth 400 to bring these forward.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening with the record with Stephen Hopkins that involves men drinking in his house on a Sunday.
Well, in 1637, during a church service, a Mayflower passenger, Stephen Hopkins, brought people to his home and was drinking alcohol. That was totally against the rules and the laws at the time, and it was on the Lord's Day, and he was fined 40 shillings, and then he did it again, and he did it again. So Mr. Hopkins was certainly recognized within the community for someone that flouted the law, and at one point he was drinking with his friends, playing shuffleboard, which was also against the rules, and the court had many fines against him to try to keep him in line.
Oh, my goodness. And wasn't he also selling a couple of other adult beverages?
Selling strong waters, nutmeg, at excessive rates.
Wow. I guess his was Party House Central, and looks like he paid the price.
He certainly did.
When can people take a look at this historic document?
Yeah, so on the last Friday of the month, in our Plymouth Colony Records Room, the second floor at 50 Aubrey Street, people can view this document from 9 to 3, and our history is fascinating.
Absolutely. And the next time we talk, I want to talk about harbor plans, railroad plans, and is it the Latham Collection?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that separately because that also looks fascinating. Again,
okay.
Thank you. Again, that's John Buckley. He's a Plymouth County Register of Deeds. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me on the show. Take care, Christine.
Thank you. You too.